The entire office went silent the moment Amanda Blake stormed onto the cybersecurity floor and saw Daniel Carter asleep at his desk. Not just resting, not blinking, not moving. His head was collapsed onto a keyboard, his phone lying on the floor, coffee spilled across stacks of security reports, and dozens of computer monitors around him flashed terrifying red warning alerts. To Amanda, the newly appointed CEO of one of America's biggest financial technology companies, it looked like pure negligence were at stake. Clients were already panicking, and the company's servers had been under attack all week. Yet the man responsible for protecting everything was sleeping, and Amanda exploded. In front of the entire staff, she publicly humiliated Daniel, calling him irresponsible, lazy, and unprofessional. Without asking a single question, she terminated him on the spot and ordered security to escort him out of the building. But what Amanda didn't know, Daniel hadn't slept because he was careless. He had been fighting a brutal cyber attack for 48 straight hours. And while she was firing him, he had already saved her company from complete destruction. Before we continue, take a moment to like this video, comment below where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that restore faith in humanity. Daniel Carter wasn't the kind of employee people noticed. At 32 years old, he was quiet, reserved, and rarely joined office parties or networking events. While others fought for promotions and attention from executives, Daniel spent his time in server rooms, behind screens, and buried in lines of code most people couldn't understand. His coworkers often joked that he looked like he hadn't seen sunlight in years. What they didn't know was that Daniel's life outside the office was far from easy. 3 years earlier, his wife Emily had died after a long battle with cancer, leaving him alone to raise their 7-year-old daughter Lily. Every morning, Daniel woke up before sunrise, made Lily breakfast, packed her lunch, dropped her off at school, worked exhausting hours, picked her up, helped with homework, and stayed awake late into the night taking freelance cybersecurity jobs just to cover hospital debts Emily left behind. He was exhausted long before the hackers ever attacked his company, but he never complained because Lily was all he had left. One Tuesday evening, everything changed. Daniel was preparing to leave work when unusual activity triggered an emergency alert, unauthorized access, attempts, foreign IP addresses, massive data extraction requests. At first, he assumed it was a minor breach attempt. Within minutes, he realized it was something far worse. A highly organized hacking group had infiltrated multiple layers of the company's financial systems. They were attempting to steal sensitive customer banking information from millions of users. If successful, the company would collapse overnight. Daniel immediately contacted upper management, but Amanda had just become CEO 2 weeks earlier and was attending an elite leadership conference overseas. Several senior executives dismissed Daniel's warnings, assuming he was overreacting. Daniel didn't wait for permission. He locked himself inside the cybersecurity operations room and began fighting back. Hour after hour, he blocked attack routes. He rebuilt firewalls. He manually shut down compromised servers. He traced suspicious traffic patterns. He stopped ransomware scripts seconds before deployment. He contacted federal cybersecurity authorities. He warned banks. He worked nonstop. He barely ate. He barely drank water. He ignored dozens of calls from Lily's school. When he finally checked his phone, he discovered Lily had been waiting alone after school for nearly 2 hours before a neighbor picked her up. The guilt crushed him, but the attack wasn't over. He sent Lily a voice message apologizing and promising to make it up to her. Then he returned to his screens. By hour 36, Daniel was hallucinating from exhaustion. The red numbers on his monitors blurred together. His hands shook violently. His vision darkened. Yet he refused to stop because every second mattered. Then came hour 48. The final attack wave hit harder than anything before. Hackers launched simultaneous breaches from multiple countries. The company's systems began collapsing. Employees panicked. Executives screamed. Daniel fought like a man possessed, and then he stopped it. He successfully isolated the final breach. He secured customer data. He saved billions of dollars. He prevented total disaster. The hackers were gone. For the first time in 2 days, Daniel allowed himself to breathe. Bo. He leaned back in his chair, his body gave out, and he fell asleep instantly. That was the exact moment Amanda returned, fresh off her private flight, perfectly dressed. Completely unaware of what had happened, she saw Daniel asleep and instantly assumed the worst. Her rage erupted. Employees watched in silence as Amanda tore into him. Daniel tried to stand, but his legs collapsed beneath him. He looked pale. His lips were dry. His eyes were bloodshot. Still, Amanda continued humiliating him. When security arrived, Daniel quietly grabbed a photo of Lily from his desk and walked away without defending himself. No one stopped him. No one spoke. The entire office watched him disappear. Then everything began falling apart. 2 hours later, federal investigators arrived. They demanded to speak with the employee who stopped the cyber attack. Amanda proudly introduced herself as CEO. The lead investigator looked confused. He explained that Daniel Carter had single-handedly prevented one of the largest cyber attacks in financial history. The company should have been thanking him, not firing him. Amanda felt the blood drain from her face. Then things got worse. The investigators revealed Daniel had collapsed in the parking lot after leaving and was rushed to a nearby hospital. Severe dehydration, sleep deprivation, physical exhaustion, dangerously high blood pressure. Amanda rushed to the hospital. For the first time in years, she wasn't thinking about profits, shareholders, or media appearances. She was thinking about the man she had destroyed without understanding his story. When she arrived, she found Lily sitting alone in the hospital hallway. The little girl clutched a stuffed rabbit and looked terrified. Amanda sat beside her and learned everything. She learned about Emily, the medical debt, the long nights, the sacrifices, the missed school pickups. The birthday Daniel had skipped because he was protecting company systems, and Amanda broke down crying. For the first time in her career, she realized leadership wasn't about authority. It was about humanity. Daniel woke up the next morning and found Amanda sitting beside his hospital bed. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her pride was gone. She apologized through tears, not as a CEO, as a human being who had failed someone good. Daniel listened quietly. Then he simply asked if his job was still available. Amanda cried harder. She didn't just offer his job back. She offered him a promotion to Chief Security Director. He refused. Amanda was shocked. Daniel told her he needed something more valuable than a title, time with his daughter. Amanda understood immediately. Instead, she created new company policies inspired by Daniel's sacrifice. Mandatory wellness checks, mental health support, flexible parenting schedules, employee appreciation systems, no more toxic work culture, and Daniel became the leader of those changes. Months later, the company hosted a national cybersecurity conference. Amanda stood on stage in front of thousands of executives and told the truth about her mistake. She publicly honored Daniel as the man who saved the company. The audience rose to their feet. Daniel looked into the crowd and saw Lily clapping harder than anyone. Tears filled his eyes. For the first time since Emily died, he felt peace. He realized success wasn't measured by promotions or money. It was measured by the people who still loved you when everything fell apart. And Lily still did. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful stories. And before this story ends, comment below, a kindness before judgment. Because sometimes the people who look like they failed are actually the ones holding everything together. Daniel went home that night, tucked Lily into bed, and listened as she whispered the words he needed most. She told him she was proud of him. And in that quiet moment, after losing everything and finding what truly mattered, Daniel smiled through tears. Because heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they simply stay awake long enough to save everyone else. 6 months after Daniel Carter was publicly honored as the man who saved the company, life finally seemed peaceful. He was spending more time with Lily. He no longer worked endless overnight shifts. The company's new wellness policies had become a model for businesses across the country, and Amanda Blake's public apology had gone viral online. Millions praised her for admitting her mistake, while others admired Daniel for choosing forgiveness over revenge. For the first time in years, Daniel felt like life was healing, until one ordinary Tuesday morning changed everything again. Daniel was dropping Lily off at school when he noticed two black SUVs parked across the street from his house. Men in dark suits stood beside them, watching. Daniel's stomach tightened. At first, he thought they were federal agents connected to the previous cyber attack investigation. But when he returned home later that evening, his front door was slightly open. He never left it open. His heartbeat pounded in his chest as he slowly stepped inside. Nothing appeared stolen, nothing looked broken, but on his kitchen table sat a single black envelope, no stamp, no return address. Inside was a photograph of Lily walking out of school, and beneath it were 6 chilling words: "You should have let us win." Daniel felt his entire body go cold. The hackers hadn't forgotten him, and now they knew where his daughter lived. He immediately contacted federal authorities, but investigations moved slowly. The cybercriminal group responsible for the original attack operated across multiple countries and had already vanished into hidden digital networks. Daniel was assigned security protection, but fear followed him everywhere. Every car near his home felt suspicious. Every unknown phone call sent panic through his body. Every time Lily walked too far ahead in a parking lot, his heart nearly stopped. He had saved millions of strangers, but now he might lose the one person he loved most. Weeks passed. Then the attacks began again. This time, they weren't targeting the company. They were targeting Daniel personally. His bank accounts were frozen. His credit was destroyed. False criminal charges appeared online. Anonymous websites accused him of corporate fraud. His neighbors began whispering. Parents at Lily's school started avoiding him. Even worse, Child Protective Services showed up at his door after receiving anonymous reports claiming Lily was unsafe. Daniel stood helpless as strangers questioned whether he deserved to be a father. Lily cried herself to sleep that night. Daniel sat outside her bedroom door feeling completely broken. He had survived grief. He had survived exhaustion, but this felt different. This enemy wanted to destroy his soul. Amanda refused to stand by and watch. The moment she learned what was happening, she mobilized every resource the company had: private investigators, digital forensic teams, former intelligence experts. She told Daniel that this fight was no longer his burden alone. For the first time in his life, Daniel allowed people to help him. The investigation uncovered something horrifying. The original cyber attack hadn't just been random criminals. It had been orchestrated by Victor Kane, a billionaire tech investor secretly funding cybercrime groups to manipulate financial markets. When Daniel stopped the original attack, Victor lost nearly $5 billion, and now he wanted revenge. Victor publicly appeared as a respected businessman, philanthropist, and media darling. Privately, he destroyed anyone who threatened his empire. Daniel had become target number 1. Federal authorities began building a criminal case, but they needed hard evidence. Daniel volunteered to help. He created a dangerous digital trap designed to lure Victor's hackers into exposing their entire network. Everyone warned him it was risky. If the plan failed, Daniel could lose everything. Again, but he looked at Lily and knew he couldn't spend the rest of his life running. The operation began. For 72 intense hours, Daniel worked alongside federal cybercrime units in a secure government facility. Hackers attacked from every direction. Millions of malicious requests flooded servers. Fake identities appeared. Digital traps were triggered. Then suddenly, Victor himself logged into a private encrypted server. Authorities traced the signal. Federal agents moved immediately. Raids happened across multiple cities. International arrests followed. Millions of stolen dollars were recovered. Victor Kane was arrested while boarding a private jet to flee the country. The news exploded worldwide. Daniel thought it was over, but one final nightmare remained. During Victor's arrest, one rogue hacker escaped, and he kidnapped Lily. Daniel's entire world shattered. A terrified voice message was sent to his phone. The hacker demanded safe passage out of the country, or Lily would disappear forever. Police urged patience. Daniel ignored them. Using his cybersecurity skills, he traced the hacker's burner devices, traffic cameras, and encrypted signals in real time. He located an abandoned warehouse near the docks. Police raced behind him, but Daniel arrived first. Inside the dark warehouse, he found Lily tied to a chair. Terrified, crying, "Oh!" But alive. The hacker held a weapon and demanded access codes to hidden financial accounts. Daniel made a choice no parent should ever face. He offered himself in exchange for Lily. The hacker laughed and agreed. Daniel walked forward slowly, fully prepared to die. The moment Lily was released and ran towards safety, police stormed the building. The hacker was arrested. Daniel collapsed to his knees, holding Lily as both cried uncontrollably. He realized money, careers, and recognition meant nothing compared to that moment. Months later, Daniel testified in court. Victor Kane was sentenced to life in prison. His criminal empire collapsed. Daniel was offered millions for movie rights, interviews, and book deals. He turned most of them down. Instead, he launched a nonprofit organization that protects small businesses and families from cybercrime attacks. Amanda became one of its largest donors. Together, they transformed tragedy into purpose. Years later, Lily stood on a graduation stage as valedictorian of her class. Oh. She looked into the audience and saw her father crying. When she finished her speech, she walked directly to him. In front of everyone, she hugged him and whispered words that made Daniel break down completely. She told him he didn't just save a company, he saved her future. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to support more stories that inspire hope. And before you leave, comment below, real heroes never give up, because sometimes the strongest people are the ones who keep fighting long after the world expects them to quit. And Daniel Carter? He was never just a man who fell asleep at work. He was a father, a fighter, a hero, and this time, the whole world knew it.